Yeah, thank you, Afrocentric and KOT, Wanyama, and all the speakers, the listeners, and the entire nation. I think it's a very, very extremely sad moment for the family of Odinga. And I want to begin by most sincerely passing my condolences to Mama Aida, the kids and grandkids, and everybody affected by this loss, but also to the entire nation to wake up to such kind of sad news. It's a very difficult moment to imagine a person of that caliber. Know that it's any easier for anybody to die, and I think this is something that is very clear to any person who has ever faced loss, and you can imagine how difficult it is. It's even more difficult when a public figure passes on, because the family usually doesn't get an opportunity to have the private moment to reflect. Quite often, like we are dealing with it, people react differently based on different facts and different backgrounds and all that. The sad part is that we live in a time that people celebrate death. I think it's a very unique moment for those of us who have been around for a second to imagine that anybody can, for whatever reason, import, whether it's politics or differences of any kind, to celebrate that somebody has passed on. I can tell you, it's a reflection we will have, probably not now, but even in the many years to come, when we look back, when we are a little grown and older, and look back and think about our own families and parents and everything, that a neighbor could just celebrate the loss of somebody just because maybe there was a conflict over either boundary or something else. It's more difficult, Afrocentric, KOT, and Wanyama, to think that the politics of our time has degenerated into the kind of heartless nation that we are raising. And today, it's a sad moment to see that there are people, of course, nobody can in any way control or tell people how they're going to react to a death. But somebody would think it's a celebration for the death of Raila Odinga. I personally started getting involved with the Raila Odinga before I became a voter. And as I was eligible to vote back in 1997, Raila was active in all this, and of course, as I've spoken repeatedly in many spaces, as we were midway through university, we were led into the campaigns that culminated into the win of 2002. One thing that I remember very clearly is that when he took over the campaigns after the accident, that as he proudly called him, the captain, Mwai Kibaki, had an accident. One of the campaigns, when he arrived at a place called Keroka, I remember one time that people said it felt, and those who were there in that rally could even attest, it felt like there was some unique power that came down, and people started questioning. We thought Nyachai is the person here, because at that time Nyachai decided to go on his own on 40 people, and of course Raila, the NERC, when the NAC and the LDP had come together forming the NAC, he had to campaign everywhere, but he did even campaign in Kisii, though they did not win any seat there. But you could tell there was some uniqueness. Flash forward, obviously, he became, we became part of the LDP team, wing of the NAC, and campaigned 2005 for against the Wako draft of the constitution, and some of us were tasked to campaign in the Eastlands because I used to be part of the Kayole, Soweto area, Dandon, and all that, and we campaigned. So later on, we were in a forum of the young people that were interested in elections, and Raila came and addressed us, and he was trying to tell us the etiquette of parliament and stuff like that. And I remember him speaking then. Flash forward, became a member of obviously the ODM party that have been a member proudly up to this date. Obviously, I've been castigated in this space, and you would understand why. But I've always been very respectful of other people's views, opinions, disagreements. But I have been, and still I am, and it's a loss to those of us who have done that. So I want to end by saying that it's, yes, people will start thinking of the impact in terms of what the impacts of his death in terms of the political dynamics of the country, and because of the current happenings of the broad-based and of course the merger, the feeling of betrayal that has been clearly stated in many of these debates. But I want to say that we can only feel betrayed when we fail to read the signs of the time and need to read politics clearly. To some people, yes, it's betrayal. To others, it is how politics is played in Kenya. And therefore, it's a matter of really trying to understand how strategically you position yourself. And those of you who are interested in politics, and I can see many of my friends here, that you understand that. But never let it get into your heart. Even if I would never, for example, now I know Kioti is a very firm person. I want to use him as an example for a reason, because I know ataweza kunirusha mawe. He's a very firm person, very committed, has been very consistent. He's running, he has a candidate, and he's also a candidate. But if it ever happens, and I'm saying God forbid on this, if it ever happens that today something happens and Kioti comes here and says, you know what, I am going to join. Let me give the worst case scenario, President Ruto. No, I have put my disclaimer. Be very careful here. I put my disclaimer for Centric with the respect I always have for everybody. I would not hate him just because he did that. I will ask him with, of course, that disappointment, but to put it to heart and ever think that he's going to be my enemy just because he's taken a different political course that maybe is going to advance him, it will be a different story. What am I saying? Let's mourn the fallen hero with respect. It will earn us more respect because we know what it means when we are dealing with that. We disagree with him politically. He is never ended well, but as a person, a father and husband of somebody, it is a time for us to put on somehow some African way of mourning the death and wish the family comfort and wish the nation a good healing. God bless you all, and thank you for holding the space.
Thank you so much, Justice.
Did you just say? Did you just say Kioti joining Ruto, or I had something else? Anyway.
Even me, I jumped at that. But thank you, Justice, for that call to sobriety. It takes a lot of maturity, and even personally, I'm also struggling with this as a Kenyan because I supported Raila, and sometimes I struggle. You judge one for making one mistake after fighting. There are a lot of things. Not only is he a father, but he also did a lot of good things for Kenya. A lot of good things for Kenya, and we have to aggregate that. and lower heads, even as the flags. I know the flags are going to fly half mast, and see that angle too. But we're accepting all views from all Kenyans. Come and tell us your thoughts, what you think is going to happen to the political scene, and make sure you have a voter's card. By the come on, a voter's card, do not request the mic. Today we have time. Today we have a lot of time. This is earthquake news. We're going to give this breaking news the proper dignity it deserves. We're going to try to speak to as many Kenyans as possible. The space is recorded. Thank you for everyone who is retweeting and sharing the space and engaging the space. We're going to pull a lot of Kenyans into this room and tell them we're on this part of the cyberspace. Kenyans are discussing the ramifications of the fall of Raila passing away. We are discussing the political ramifications. We are going to be discussing its ramifications to the Kenya Kwisha government, also discussing how it affects the movement. Do you think we're going to reach 2027? How does this affect ODM? Will there be a scramble for ODM? I see here Justice for All, who is, I believe, is a lifetime member of ODM. How do you feel? Please stay on the speaker panel. Give us more views on how do you think this is going to affect the hierarchy. Is there about to be, you know what happens when Caesar falls? Will there be a scramble a bitter fight among the lieutenants in ODM? Will we see them consolidate and preserve Baba's legacy, or will everyone leave? Yule amekuja na babati achukue mabati, yule amechukua na sorry for dishonoring ODM. Ule amekuja na matofali akuwe na mabati huko. Ule amekuja na matofali, a Luo man can never put mabati in their home. Ule amekuja na mbao achukue mbao zake, that so forth and so on. So we are trying to dissect the totality of it, although it is very difficult to capture it. Raila Odinga had a huge footprint in the political scene of our country. Farah, the mic is yours. Karibu, please, 3 minutes. I'm trying to get as many speakers as possible here.
Thank you, Afro. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Asante sana. First of all, I would like to pass my condolences to the family and everybody who personally knew him, na watoto wake pia. But I would also like to say that I do not celebrate his death, neither will I partake in his mourning. Because I think Raila began with very good intentions and clear intentions in Kenyan politics, where he wanted to make things better. But it got to a point where he forgot about everything else and it became about it making it better for himself. I understand that tukikufa sisi wote tunakuwaga wazuri. We all become good people. That nothing bad is supposed to be said of you. But I also believe that death does not absolve you of the actions you did or the decisions you made while you were alive. This does not mean we are supposed to celebrate his death. No. But at the same time, it does not mean we are supposed to glorify him and raise him to the status of an angel who never made mistakes. Because we have a list of about 60-something people who died and he still went to shake the hand of the person who killed them. So, as much as it is a hard time, we must put everything in context as well. In regard to the political scene that is going to unfold, I think a lot of political careers are going to end. People like Kina Kaluma and Junet are going to lose relevance. I think we're going to see the Babu move closer to Ruto and Ruto move closer to Babu, because I think he's naturally the next. If we are going to stick along tribal lines, he's naturally the next tribal kingpin from Luo Nyanza. And it will be very sad as a people if we, again, were galvanized along tribal lines and raised Babu to the status of Baba. Because we will not have made any progress as a people and we will not be any better than our parents. So, through these difficult times, let us be very tuwe wakarimu na maneno yetu, but at the same time let us not whitewash history. Thank you, Afro.